Yo, what is up, guys? It is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, back in here with another fantasy football video. In today's video, I'm going over the Week 12 quarterback rankings. Go through quarterback 1 all the way through 20 and give you an explanation of why I have them ranked where they are ranked. Now, before I get in the video, I'd like to give you guys a word from my friends and my sponsor over at OverlayDFS.com. OverlayDFS.com is my favorite way to play daily fantasy football. Now, my favorite game on this website is the progressive game, where every single week, if the bonus does not get hit, the money keeps on rolling and rolling and rolling on until you eventually, and someone hits that beautiful 12-0 to get that progressive bonus. As you can see here in the $22 game, which is the best game to play this week, if you go 12-0 and all those stars align, you can get over 8 grand winning in that game. Now, if you don't end up going that beautiful 12-0, don't you worry, because if you're in the top 10%, you get 9 times your buy-in at all levels. $2.5, you get $18. $22 entry, you get $180. And if you enter the $109 game and you hit that beautiful top 10%, you get 9 times your money at $900. Now, there's also another game with best record wins. You enter $11, the top 10% get $90, and that top prize, you get $100. So it's going to look beautiful on there right now. But obviously, that price is going to keep going up as more people join and enter. Pretty much, you're not even playing against anyone. You're pretty much just playing against yourself. You're playing against the board, and you got to make sure that you get just a good enough record to hit that money. Now, I'm going to explain how it necessarily works right here this week. Now I'm going to join the $22 game. Pretty much how it works, all you got to do is pick 12 of these players out of a huge selection of players, and plus 3 alternates. So you got to hit that beautiful 12-0 record to get that huge bonus, or obviously you can get 9-3 or 7-5. It's different every single week. That would make you hit that beautiful and get that 9 times your money. So one of the games here, and one of the strategies I like to do, is I like to go with Drew Brees over Russell Wilson here, and then I scroll down to the wide receivers, and I select Michael Thomas, because I'm going to be stacking my quarterback with my wide receiver. That is my favorite thing to do on this website. So make sure you guys check out overlaydfs.com. Link down below in the description. Goodbye, my friends. And we are back. Make sure to check out overlaydfs.com. Link down below in the description. But let's get right into it. Week 12 quarterback ranking. Coming in at number 1, we have Lamar Jackson, quarterback of the Baltimore Ravens, going against the LA Rams. Now, you guys know that Lamar Jackson has just been absolutely destructive in fantasy football this year. Lamar Jackson is one of the top quarterbacks for fantasy football and the number 1 quarterback for fantasy football. And this week against the LA Rams should be no different. The LA Rams defense is okay, but Lamar Jackson gets so much work with his legs and running in those touchdowns that it's just going to be so easy for him to score at will. I like him this week against the LA Rams. That's why he's ranked as my number 1 overall quarterback this week. At number 2, we have Matty Ice going against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a game that I predict should be quite the shootout unless the Atlanta Falcons defense looks to be locked down like they have been the last 2 weeks. Now, Matt Ryan is facing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that do have a great run defense, but Matt Ryan is not a running back. He is actually a quarterback, as you may know, and Matt Ryan is going to be able to easily torch the Tampa Bay corners and all of the backs on the Tampa Bay team. It should be very easy for Matt Ryan to put up a very top-tier game this week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. At number 3, we have Mr. Russell Wilson going up against the Philadelphia Eagles in Philadelphia. Now, Russell Wilson should be able to have a big game this week as well. Now, this is a matchup that is catered towards passing, because the Philadelphia Eagles, just like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, have a good run defense, but their pass defense is quite suspect. And Russell Wilson should be able to pass all over these guys. The Seattle Seahawks are trying to make a statement and keep winning those games so that they can prove that they're one of the best teams in the NFC and all over the NFL. So I think Russell Wilson will have a big game this week against the Philadelphia Eagles. Coming in at number 4, we have Drew Brees going up against the Carolina Panthers. Now, the Carolina Panthers defense really is not all that good as well. They are able to stop some teams, but they still allow a shit ton of yards, and Drew Brees should be able to rack up a lot of yardage in this game. Him and Michael Thomas have quite the love affair. It seems like if just Michael Thomas was on the field, Drew Brees would still throw for like 200 goddamn yards. As well, they also have Alvin Kamara, so it should be an easy game for the New Orleans Saints to dominate all over the Carolina Panthers, where Kyle Allen is looking god awful, and it seems like that the New Orleans Saints will have the ball a lot lot in this game. Coming in at number 5, we have famous Jameis Winston going up against the Atlanta Falcons in Atlanta. And the reason why I like Matt Ryan is why I like famous Jameis. Now, famous Jameis in this game, the Atlanta Falcons defense has looked locked down, but Jameis Winston is just the craziest man alive, and he may be throwing the ball for 400 yards. He may throw 2 picks and throw 2 touchdowns and still have an amazing fantasy day against this Atlanta Falcons defense. I like Jameis Winston this week. Coming in at number 6, we have Josh Allen going up against the Denver Broncos. Now, Josh Allen has been performing very, very well the last couple of games of this NFL season. Now, Josh Allen is a guy that can get it done both through the air and with his legs, like many of these guys in the top 6. Now, Josh Allen got the Denver Broncos. We saw how Kirk Cousins handled the Denver Broncos in the second half of that game last week. I like Josh Allen a lot this week. He provided a huge game last week in fantasy football, being a top 5 quarterback against the Miami Dolphins, and the Denver Broncos defense might be just as suspect as that Miami Dolphins defense. At number 7, we have Baker Mayfield feeling a bit dangerous this week going up against the Miami Dolphins. Now, I have little confidence in Baker Mayfield, but this matchup is so goddamn juicy that you cannot have him outside of the top 10. The Miami Dolphins defense is suspect. Josh Allen just torched them. Every quarterback has just torched them this year. Baker Mayfield should be able to easily eat against the Miami Dolphins home at Cleveland. Coming in at number 8, we have Mr. State Farm, Mr. Discount Double Check, Aaron Rodgers going up against the San Francisco 49ers. Now, this is going to be a tough test for Mr. Aaron Rodgers. The San Francisco 49ers defense has been bending recently and not looking all that great, but this week up against the Green Bay Packers, they're going to be looking to stop one man and one man only, and his name is number 12, Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers should still be able to perform in this game. He is great wide receiver, or really just great wide receiver in Devontae Adams, who's likely getting to play back in this game. I like Aaron Rodgers this week against the San Francisco 49ers, but he's not ranked as high due to the fact that he does have a tougher matchup against San Francisco in San Fran. At number 9, we have Derek Carr going against the New York Football Jets. Knock one time if you're with me. Derek Carr this week should be able to easily perform against the New York Football Jets. Derek Carr has been performing the last couple of games up to a super duper high level. You've seen him put up a lot of fantasy points the last couple of games. I see no reason for it not to happen against the New York Jets. Now, the one thing is that the Raiders have one of the better running backs in the league in Joshua Jacobs, and John Gruden has a lot of confidence in Josh Jacobs, so there could be a problem when it comes to when they get up early and fast, that my man Josh Jacobs gets the ball about 1,000 times. That will hurt Derek Carr's value. That's why he's ranked down here at number 9, and because the talent ahead of him is just so high, and they have very juicy matchups. At number 10, we have Dak Prescott going against the New England Deflatrates. Now, I like Dak Prescott in this game. Dak Prescott is playing up against the New England Patriots this week, and like I said in most of my videos, that I think the New England Patriots defense is very good, but we've seen them actually not play all that well against. A few weeks ago, they played against Lamar Jackson before that bye, and last week they played against Carson Wentz, and Carson Wentz honestly didn't look all that bad. So this Cowboys offense is going to look to try to go into New England and beat them to prove that they're a top team in the NFC. And do I believe that they could beat the New England Patriots? Sure. Do I think it could happen? Sure. Do I think that's what's going to happen? No. There is a chance that Dak Prescott gets his ass completely eviscerated in this game, and that the New England Patriots defense and the boogeymen make him look silly. He could be seeing ghosts like Sam Darnold did in that game against them just a couple of weeks ago, but I do think that Dak Prescott has been playing so phenomenal that he should be great. Now, if Amari Cooper is held out of this matchup, I would be a lot more worried about starting Dak Prescott. At number 11, we have TB12, the quarterback on the other side of that game. Tom Brady going up against the Dallas Cowboys. Now, Tom Brady has not been performing that well in fantasy football thus far the last couple of games. He does have a lot of talent on that team, but a lot of those guys are banged up. Julian Edelman, Mohamed Sanu, just to name a few. Now, N'Keal Harry is coming back off that injury. He's been sidelined all year. Week 12, he makes his NFL debut. Do I think that that really helps out the offense? Yeah, it does somewhat, but at the end of the day, Tom Brady is just going to be about average, probably be around the 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 spot this week in fantasy football. So that's why I have him ranked at number 11. I think that this game has potential, though, to be one of those games that is very back and forth. But at the end of the day, it could be an ass whooping at the hands of Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. At number 12, we have Mono Man Sam Darnold going against the Oakland Raiders. Now, Sam Darnold should be able to easily perform in this game, you would think. The Oakland Raiders defense is not that hot. The Oakland Raiders defense is not that good. Now, Sam Darnold Darnold has been actually surgically destroying these teams. He's looking surgical out there, dissecting these defenses. Now, I think that Sam Darnold this week is going to be good, but I still think that the Oakland Raiders defense has some value in fantasy football due to the fact that Sammy Mono may throw a couple of picks out there and get his ass a bit sacked, but I still think he plays well enough to be a top 12 guy against the Oakland Raiders. Knock one time if you're with me. Now on to 13 through 20, but before I get there, make sure you guys click that subscribe button down below if you have enjoyed thus far. Now on to 13 through 20. At number 13, we have Jimmy Garoppolo, Jimmy GQ, Jimmy G-Spot, Jimmy Moneybags, whatever you'd like to call him, going against the Green Bay Pack. Jimmy Garoppolo has been very on and off for fantasy the last couple of weeks. It's been very confusing with him. Some games, it seems like the game plan for the 49ers is to run the damn ball like they're the Indianapolis Colts. And then the next game, Jimmy Garoppolo is slinging for 4 touchdowns. And then the game after, they're just running the ball. So it's very hard to figure out what's going to happen. If George Kittle misses in this game right now, he's questionable. If he does not get to play, the run game is fucking terrible on that team, okay? They cannot run when George Kittle is not out there. George Kittle is a great blocker for the run game. Now, I think that Jimmy Garoppolo can still perform in this game, whether Kittle is in or out. So I like George Kittle this week at 13, but you obviously have to worry about the fact that they could just be a very run-heavy offense against the Green Bay Packers in San Francisco. At number 14, we have Carson Wentz going against the Seattle Seahawks. Now, Carson Wentz didn't look completely terrible against the New England Patriots, but he is just about out of wide receivers. Alshon Jeffrey likely not going to play. It's probably just going to be a game where Carson Wentz throws it to Mr. Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert about 9 million fucking times because that's all they can do. And the Seattle Seahawks defense is so shit against the tight end position and guarding that tight end. Now, I like Carson Wentz this week for a few reasons. I think that if Nelson Aguilar can hold on to the ball a couple of times and actually catch the ball, then Carson Wentz would have looked amazing against the New England Patriots. Now, I think that this week against the Seattle Seahawks, he could still be good as well, but you obviously have to temper your expectations due to the fact that the team and the wideouts are so banged up for Mr. Carson Wentz. At number 15, we have Danny Dimes, Daniel Jones going up against the Chicago Bears. And I like to call him Danny Fumbles because he fumbles the ball so many fucking times every single game, but it doesn't seem to matter because he is performing very, very well the last couple of games. Obviously, last week they played against the bye. You know, you can't score many fucking points against the bye. You actually can't score any, but this week he gets the Chicago Bears. So I'm a bit worried in this game. The Chicago Bears really held down the LA Rams offense. Well, not the run game, but the pass game last week, but obviously Daniel Jones will be able to sling the ball a lot in this game, I believe, so I think that he warrants being a top 15 guy in fantasy football this week. Coming in at number 16, we have Jeffy Driscoll, DJ Jeffy D, going up against the Washington Redskins. Now, in this game, I believe that Jeff Driscoll could actually perform. The Washington defense is so fucking bad and so atrocious that I really think that Jeff Driscoll does have his time to shine. But my one worry and my biggest worry is the fact that they're going to try to run the ball a lot against the Washington Redskins. Bo Scarborough, J.D. McKissick, Ty Johnson, all going to be getting touches in this game. And Jeff Driscoll did look good in his last outing, actually performing quite well. And especially against the Washington Redskins defense, there's definitely room for him to play great. But the biggest worry is the fact that he's Jeff fucking Driscoll. You don't know what the offense is going to look like in this game. You don't know who he's going to be throwing the rock to. And at the end of the day, the fact is that you just have to have some big balls to play Jeff Driscoll. I really think he could end up shitting the bed this week where a lot of people are pretty high on him against the Washington Redskins. At number 17, coming in at number 17, we have my main man, Big Dick Nick Foles, going against the Tennessee Titans in Tennessee. And Nick Foles is the only 10 I see because last week he threw a fucking garbage time touchdown that almost beat me in fantasy football. Now, I know obviously garbage time cut touchdowns count for your fantasy team, and we all know that in Jacksonville we had the garbage time king just a few years ago in Mr. Blake Bortles, but this week against the Tennessee Titans, I think that Nick Foles will honestly have quite the tough day. The Tennessee Titans defense is not one to be messing with, and I think that this could be a game that could go either way. Either of these teams could easily dominate the other one. That's the problem with Jacksonville versus the Tennessee Titans. You think easily the Tennessee Titans may win this game, and then out of nowhere, Big Dick Nick's going to go in there and whoop they ass. We saw last time Gardner Minshew looked dominant against them a couple of weeks into the season. Now, I do think that Nick Foles is a better quarterback than Gardner Minshew, so I think that it could be the Jacksonville leading the charge in this game and ending up winning this game. But for fantasy football, I really don't think either of these quarterbacks could end up having a humongous game when both of these teams really do like to run the rock with Leonard Fournette and Derrick Henry, respectively. At number 18, we have Jared Goff going against the Baltimore Ravens. Now, Jared Goff looked absolutely fucking putrid against the Chicago Bears last week. Now, do I think that Jared Goff does have the potential to perform this week against the Baltimore Ravens? Of course. Do I think it is actually going to happen? Probably not. The team's wide receivers are fucked up. Robert Woods, who knows if he's going to play? Cooper Kupp hasn't done shit the last couple of games. Brandon Cooks, dead. Now somehow playing. They may just look to run the ball a lot with Todd Gurley because that's about all that was working against the Chicago Bears last week. And I just don't trust Jared Goff enough after he's been performing very much under my expectations a lot this year. So I'm going to be putting him at number 18. At number 19, we have Ryan Tannehill going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, like I said, this game could go either way. Normally, the games don't go back and forth between the Tennessee Titans and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Normally, it is an ass whooping by one of these teams. And I really think it will be the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I'm going to sit Ryan Tannehill in this game. He's ranked at number 19 because he does have that potential to throw like 100 yards and 3 touchdowns because that's just what happens when you're the Tennessee Titans quarterback and your name is Ryan Tannehill, but I don't really have much belief in him this week. And at number 20, we have the Miami Dolphins quarterback. I think I called Ryan Tannehill the Miami Dolphins quarterback. He's the Tennessee Titans quarterback. At number 20, we have the real Miami Dolphins quarterback in Ryan Fitzmagic going against the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland. Now, there is some Fitzmagic still left in the tank, and I think the Miami Dolphins could 100% run the table. They have an easy schedule coming up. As a Dolphins fan, I honestly hope they lose, but there is still potential for them to make the playoffs. And if Ryan Fitzpatrick wants to lead this team all the way to the playoffs from deep down, he is going to have to beat this Cleveland Browns team. And I believe that Ryan Fitzpatrick will perform well enough to be a top 20 quarterback, but that's really not that hard because the quarterbacks below Ryan Fitzpatrick are fucking terrible. So thank you guys all for watching this video. If at any point you ended up chuckling, if at any point you ended up enjoying, knock one time on that subscribe button if you're with me. I love each and every single one of you guys. Thank you so much for watching all the way through this video. Make sure to check out overlaydfs.com. Link down below in the description. Goodbye, my friends.